So he uses that to sort of avoid the crowds a little bit. He can get in Jerusalem, teach, provoke, tear up the temple, and run out the workers, whatever he's doing in Jerusalem. He can get in there, do that, and then kind of escape a little bit. The way Jerusalem works is it sits on a series of hills, and Mount Moriah, which is where the temple sat, is a mountain. It is a hill, but it's actually lower than the surrounding hills. So you have the hill that is now called Mount Zion is above it, higher to the west, and the Mount of Olives is above the Temple Mount to the east. Mm-hmm. And Bethany is just on the back side of the Mount of Olives. Okay. So if you're in Bethany, to get to Jerusalem, you kind of come over the top of the Mount of Olives. You drop down into what's called the Kidron Valley. The valley that separates Jerusalem from the Mount of Olives. Mm-hmm. You drop down into that valley, and then you kind of come up into the city. And Bethany has been kind of like a Jerusalem neighborhood, mm-hmm. if you would, a bedroom community for Jerusalem, literally going back 2,000 years. It was always sort of an outlying village of Jerusalem. Yeah. Which is basically what it still is till this day. What would happen is this. So if you were a religious Jew, you had to come to Jerusalem for the religious sort of festival holidays, okay? The headliners being Sukkot, which we call Feast of Tabernacles, and Pesach, which we call Passover, okay? So you pretty well had to come for those things, right? If you were able-bodied and capable. And Jesus, as a Jew who's living out the Torah, the law of Moses perfectly, that's his purpose, is to come and fulfill the law and be innocent but be punished, right, to pay for our sins. Then he has to come. He has to come because he's able-bodied and capable. So Jesus would come and go from Jerusalem on a regular basis. Now, he's a Galilean. He's not from Judea or the area around Jerusalem. He's from the Galilee. He's from the north. And he would, his home base is Capernaum. Matthew says that he lived in Capernaum during his ministry years.
And that's how far away?
I think about 70 miles.
Okay.
So, on foot, and it's a few days.
Yeah.
So he'd come walking. They would walk down the Jordan River Valley, mm-hmm. which is below sea level the whole way. Yep. It's hot down there. They'd get to Jericho, which is a desert oasis city. They would take a right-hand turn and climb about 4,000 or 5,000 feet up the mountains to Jerusalem. About 4,000 feet, I guess. Yeah. So big sort of climb there at the end. And that's why the Bible always says coming up to Jerusalem, because you're climbing. You get there and you're sort of in the holy city. So, but anyway, Bethany is just outside. All these thousands of people would flood into the city for the holidays, right? Some historians estimate as many as 2 million people may have come for Passover most years. That's probably a highball estimate. But I think it's safe to say 300 to 500,000 people came every year. And so you start thinking about a city the size of Jerusalem with the typical population every day was, maybe 20,000 people or so. Now 500,000 people are going to flood in. That's just crowded, and if you've been there, it's not that big. Yeah. And so what Jesus did was really smart. He had friends. He has Mary, Martha, Lazarus, who lived just over the hill. A 1.5 mile walk for those guys that's nothing. That's before breakfast every day, So just over the hill, and he could stay there with them and come and go. And so Bethany is Jesus's Jerusalem base, if you would. It's where he comes and goes from. He deeply loves Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, because it's very clear in the text. Mm-hmm. He deeply loves them. And so he uses that to sort of avoid the crowds a little bit. He can get in Jerusalem, teach, provoke, tear up the temple, and run out the workers, whatever he's doing in Jerusalem. He can get in there, do that, and then kind of escape a little bit. Okay. Being a little bit less crowded place in the evening, and then go back in and do it the next day. So that's kind of his flow during those times when he's in Jerusalem. Hey guys, if you like our content, please click like and subscribe. That really helps us out a lot. And then also go to thelandinthebible.com and subscribe for premium content. And that really helps us. It helps us generate more content. And also half of it goes to help us go overseas and help refugee kids, is what we're really called to do.